Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 because yay, the most expensive Nintendo game ever is here. It's Mario Kart World, and I've been playing it, and I gotta admit that now, after having played every track, unlocked the secret tracks, unlocked a lot of the characters, a lot of the alternate skins, a lot of the special carts and stuff, I'm disappointed by this because this really doesn't feel like classic Nintendo, classic greatness. And also, the fact that this is the most expensive Nintendo game of all time, I expected more. Like, when it comes to launch games are incredibly important. If you're trying to put out a new piece of tech, a new piece of hardware, you need that thing that kind of says, hey, here is why the next generation is beginning. Here's something so cool, so epic, it could not have existed on that previous gen. Mario Kart World looks like any other Nintendo Switch game. And in a lot of ways, it's way less fun than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I really don't get it, but let me break it down, and let me break down the three phases of World, because Mario Kart World is three separate styles of game in it. There's knockout races, there's Grand Prix, and there's the open world stuff, which is just, oh my god, so boring. But let me begin. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, so first and foremost, what is Mario Kart World and what is it trying to do that previous ones weren't? So this game is very much about size. It's about speed. It's about going from point A to point B instead of just doing laps on a track. Now, when it just comes to raw tracks, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe obviously had 96 tracks, completely bonkers. This has about 30. Now, they try to make up for the lack of numbers with just sheer scale. A lot of these new courses, when you actually get to them, which we're going to talk about in a second, they are very, very refined. They've got all sorts of crazy cool shortcuts, times where you can grind rails or jump through waterfalls or do some really, really cool shortcuts. I always feel like the most fun part of a new Mario Kart is learning that track, of practicing to perfection every possible corner you can slice, getting every boost. I like that. The courses themselves, I actually think are really, really good. And when you start using the new items, hearing the new sound effects, hearing the new music, there's a lot of stuff in this that I feel like really has that love that I was hoping for. My big problem is the pacing itself. So the way this game works is that instead of just doing the track and then doing the next track, which is how every other Mario Kart ever has always worked, Grand Prix is always a 4-track series. The better you do, the higher you place, the more points you get. Whoever has the most points at the end of it wins the big gold trophy, right? But instead, what they do in this now is you do a race, and then you have to drive across the world to get to the next track, and it immediately starts the next race. So instead of just having like a cool fight in a volcano, or you're up in the clouds or doing Rainbow Road, instead you start in like a desert or in a stadium or something like that. You drive from the previous course to the next course. And I feel like I just don't like this because these in-between areas, to me, feel very, very basic. A lot of times it is just a lot of straightaways, a lot of like very much stuff that's not twisty or turny or cool. A lot of it does just feel like driving from point A to point B. Now, they do some cool stuff. Sometimes when you're driving like down the highway, you'll have like random Goombas or Koopas and stuff come up and do sort of like remixed events. They'll drop a bunch of thwomps or fireballs or mushrooms to try to help you along. That stuff, I guess, is interesting, but it's so easy to just drive around it on these big international highways. I mean, a lot of these in-between courses are just not fun, which is why before we finish talking about Grand Prix, let me tell you about what Knockout is. So this is the completely new mode just invented for World Tour, and it is purely those in-between tracks. Maybe I'm missing something, but it just feels like those weird times where you're driving from point A to point B to get to the track that's actually fun. Knockout mode is only the in-betweens. It is a combination of like 5 in-between tracks, and you have to try to be the first one to finish. every time you pass from one track to the next, it kills a couple of the players in the back. It goes, oh, you have to be in 20th. Oh, you got to be in 18th. You got to be in 12th. And then it slowly picks everybody off until you're the last man standing. It sounds like a good idea, and I think it could be fun in a normal track. I do not like this big biome, this empty space. To me, that's how it feels. It just felt like empty space. Riding down a river or bouncing off clouds and stuff sounds cool in concept, but I like the track format. And for me, knockout mode just didn't really feel like it had that tightness that makes Mario Kart so fun. I don't want to just drive in a straight line or down a big hill. It just didn't really make sense. So going back to Grand Prix, one of the weirdness about this is that what happens is each of these races now, you'll start at a location, you drive to the track, and then you still have to do 3 laps on the track. So it's still pretty quick. It's not like it takes 20 minutes to do a thing, but it definitely feels a bit like filler. A lot of times I was doing good and trying to pick up coins and stuff, so I'm faster when I get to the actual track, but something about this just feels overly spacious for no reason. I really wish that there was a mode I could pick where I only did the tracks and not just time trial. I wish I could say like classic Grand Prix. But speaking of weird features that truly make no sense, there's a lot of stuff that just feels like it's missing. A lot of the costumes I like are just gone. I can't find the different colored Yoshis. There's just a lot of stuff that feels like they removed it for no reason. There is no 200cc, which is like the highest speed of racing. Typically, the faster you choose, the harder it is. That's just not in the game, but it was in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I think the director said they just didn't even think of it. Why not? You're making the most expensive Nintendo game of all time. Do it all. Put in every option. Put in every costume. Put in every color of Yoshi. Like, why cut that out? One of the things they do in this game that is so baffling to me, I don't understand it. On Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, when you pick stuff, you'd pick a character and then you pick their costume. Here, every single costume is a separate character. So if you want to be Waluigi, that's one character. Biker Waluigi, that's one character. Sombrero Waluigi, that's one character. And the way you unlock more is by going through drive-thrus. While you're driving from one course to the next, occasionally you'll see like a to-go bag of food, and picking it up gives you a random costume. If it's a costume you haven't had before, congrats, you unlocked that character. Now there's bigger character unlocks as well. You'll unlock Rosalina and stuff like that, but a lot of the characters don't have optional outfits. Like only the main 10 characters have optional outfits, and all the rest have nothing. They have no unlockables whatsoever. Everybody drives the same cars as well. You also can't do any of the customization to your cars. Like, obviously when you played a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you chose your glider, your car, your wheels. Here, you just pick a car and nothing else. This game, it's not that it feels lazy. It feels like they were trying to narrow everything down to the most efficient laser beam of fun. And I feel like they've lost something in the process. But let me talk about the open world. This is a completely optional thing. I don't get it. Maybe other people will have more fun than I am, but when you're on the main menu, you can press the start button. You press the plus, and now you can just drive around. And when you drive around, you see these P-block challenges. By doing these things where it's like a little time trial, dodge the zebras, grind on a bridge, bounce on a bunch of bubbles out in the ocean. They're just not fun. They're just so extremely boring, and I don't care about these 6 out of 10 filler content things in a game I thought was a kart racer. Mario Kart, not P-button drift night. I think this game is not terrible. I think it is going to get better in the future. The same way that Mario Kart 8, when it originally launched on the Wii U, it didn't have the most courses. They kept adding and expanding and adding in more characters and cool crossovers and stuff like that. I'm waiting for that. This first version of it, I don't really care about. I think the new items kind of suck. The hammers, the ice flower, the coin shell, none of that's too good. It feels like everything is too easy to just dodge. I've noticed that the blue shell, you can just out drive it. You can just do a mushroom and you'll just dodge the blue shell now. maybe that's a glitch, but just in general, I don't get it. Mario Kart World is the first time I've played a Mario game, or really any Nintendo game, that's so dang expensive, and I'm really just like, what are we doing here? Okay, so these have been some off-the-cuff thoughts. If I had to give it a number, I think I'd give it a 7 out of 10 because of the price. If you somehow got this game for free, I think you'd have fun for a day or two, but if you're looking for like the depth of any other Mario Kart, this ain't it. But this has been Dreamcast Please watch my other video I put up today. I did a big video just talking about how I am really not enjoying the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm not definitely, it's the first time I bought a Nintendo console, maybe ever, where I was immediately like, yeah, I don't think this is for me. Maybe when it gets more games, more features, more stuff, it'll be cooler, but this funky ass controller with these like racing fins, and just not for me. Thanks so much for watching. If you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming.